Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. First of all, before starting today's video, I want to say thank you to all the people who have subscribed to my channel. I want to say, guys, I'm so happy that you're watching me. I'm so grateful for all your comments, even though sometimes I get negative comments, but it doesn't matter. I'm still grateful because I feel the feedback from you, and this is so special. And I'm always amazed to see that there are people from different countries and different parts of the world watching me. This is so amazing. That's just, mind-blowing. So I really cherish each and every one of you, and I hope you will like my videos further on as well. Coming back to my today's video, it is going to be about Russian toys. Yeah, I will continue the theme that I started with my previous video on Russian traditional dolls. Yeah, today we're going to talk about other toys that we have traditionally in Russia. So the toys that we're going to talk about today are the ones that were made for the kids to play with, for amusement. They have nothing to do with any types of rituals or anything else like that. Simply for amusement, for the usual purpose of toys. And first of all, I have to say that we have toys made from wood and we have toys made from clay. Like those two materials were the main ones that were used for making toys in Russia. And speaking of wooden toys, of course, I will have to mention Matryoshka. Yeah, because she is the queen of our Russian traditional toys. Everyone knows her throughout the world. Like people do not know the name, they are forgetting the name, but when they see this, they understand that this is Russian, definitely. Oh, there is an interesting fact. Japanese also have a traditional toy that looks very much like Matryoshka. It is also wooden, it opens up and holds little figures within it in the same way. If I'm not mistaken, it is called Fukuruma. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. And some people say that maybe the inventor of the Russian Matryoshka actually saw a Japanese toy previously and he took his idea of Matryoshka from a Japanese toy. Okay, so this doll is called Matryoshka, and its name comes from the Russian woman named Matriona. That was very popular at the times when she was invented. And here, I want to give a little historical remark to explain when exactly she was invented, because she doesn't have as long history as you might expect. Okay, so I have to say that in 19th century, in the beginning of 19th century, French culture was very popular among Russian aristocratic families, about Russian nobles. Like it was considered to be a feature of an educated person to speak French and to be, to be educated in a French style. Everything French was popular. French literature, French furniture, French fashion, just everything. And it was a common thing for the families to invite teachers from France. So usually a family had a governess living with them and educating their kids, like teaching the kids French literature and everything else like that. So usually families knew French better than Russian. Like they were speaking French even among themselves. Like family members were speaking French all the time. Yes, I know that sounds weird actually, but that's the way it was in many families. Um, Aristocratic families, of course. Yeah, you understand the usual people, they spoke Russian, right? So, but in 1812, we had a war with Napoleon. He invaded Russia, and even Moscow was actually burned down, if you didn't know. So, that was the time when Russian people's minds changed drastically, completely, turned to the other side. Yeah. And after the war with Napoleon, we were having a rise of interest towards Russian culture. People suddenly remembered that, oh, we have a culture of our own Russian traditions, and they're exciting and they're beautiful. So they kind of yeah, turned back towards Russian culture. And that was the time when this doll was invented. She was invented in 1820 by a person, Vasily Zvyzdочkin, and by his partner. Well, people are arguing here whether it was invented only by Vasily without his partner, but it doesn't matter actually. It was invented in an art studio in Moscow. By the way, we have a museum of Matryoshka in the building, in the center of Moscow, in the building when it was actually invented. So if you will ever visit Moscow, you can go there and see for yourself and find a lot of things about Matryoshka. The main thing that I can say about her is that, yeah, she's made like a woman, and she's dressed in the Russian traditional costume, which consists of a white shirt, a very long one, of a sleeveless dress that we call sarafan. It's just a simple dress without sleeves, and of a piece of cloth that covers her head. We call this platok. Um, Actually, it's something similar to a handkerchief, only bigger in sizes. And by the way, in Russia, we have the same word for handkerchief and for this thing that covers your head. And yes, it was a tradition. It was a tradition for married women to cover their hair with platok. Yeah, it was inappropriate to go out of your house without this on. Yeah. So traditionally, a doll looks like this. I will give you more pictures over here. Like that's the most traditional one, and usually she had flowers or like berries or something else like that. Usually flowers on her apron, and that's it. Today, you might find different types of matryoshka. Really, I think that people that are producing matryoshka today, they're just crazy, their imagination simply runs wild. You can find matryoshka with political leaders. I think the one with Russian political leaders is probably the most popular, but you can find them with other countries political leaders as well, with American presidents, with English prime ministers, with Chinese leaders, and so on. By the way, you can order a matryoshka to be made with your face or with your family members' faces. But I think it looks pretty weird. I wouldn't do that. And yeah, you can buy yourself matryoshka in the internet that is individually painted in some art studios. And sometimes they look so cute. They have cute children faces, and each doll is different from the previous one. So if I would have girls instead of boys, I would probably buy myself a few of these. And then I saw this. We have dolls that sometimes are made after fairy tales. These are really popular among Russian kids. Yeah, like we have a fairy tale that is called Kolobok. It's about a cookie. It's just something like a cookie that was baked and then he ran away from um, old couple that actually baked him, and he was meeting different types of animals on his way, and he was running away from everyone except from Fox. Fox was too cunning. She tricked him and ate him. Yeah, I think you have a similar fairy tale in Europe about the ginger man. Yeah, the gingerbread man. I've seen Matryoshka with Harry Potter characters. That was something that really surprised me a lot. So actually, yeah, you can find different types today. You can find different like Matryoshka made in different colors and different shapes. And as for the price of this doll, you can buy a simple one like I have for 600 rubles, or you can buy yourself a pretty expensive one, painted individually, exclusively by some sort of an artist, and that will cost about like 2,000 rubles, 500 rubles. Actually, the price like goes up unlimited. Yeah, so it depends. And usually Matryoshka consists of 8 dolls, 12 dolls. But sometimes you can find like really big sets of them. I think the maximum amount of dolls that I've seen in one doll was like about 29 dolls in one. That's quite a lot. The process of making Matryoshka is totally handmade. And of course, there are little secrets here, like the lower part has to be made from a really dried wood, and the upper part, on the contrary, should be a little wet in order for the both parts to fit perfectly to one another. Yes, Matryoshka is very popular among tourists. It is probably, the most popular souvenir that people buy in Russia. But what about Russian families? I have to say that, frankly speaking, I do not see a lot of these kind of toys in Russian families. Well, usually mothers that have little kids, like 1 year old, 2 year old kids, they are buying Matryoshka for their kids. Actually, it doesn't really matter if the child is a boy or a girl. This toy is still bought because it is actually pretty useful to play with a kid. And here's why. Well, let's just open it up, see how many dolls I have, and I will explain to you how I used to play with my kids when they were little. Ah, the sound is terrible. So I have one, two, that's the third one, four, five, and yes, that's it. I have five. Let's put them up together, and I will explain. When your kid is little, it's really useful to use this toy to teach your child what is big and what is small, to show them these two these two words, to explain that to them, right? So you just show to your kid and you're saying, wow, I put it wrongly, put it in the wrong way. Okay, that's the way it should be. Okay, so whenever you're playing with a little kid, at first you're taking two dolls and you're saying, this is a big one and this is a small one, right? You're saying, now this is a big one and this is a smaller, this is bigger than this one, right? So when your child plays with Matryoshka, he learns that there's a difference in sizes, like his sizes differ, right? And it's like assembling a pyramid that everybody knows, right? A pyramid for little kids. But if you can assemble the pyramid in a wrong way, it will still stay up, by itself. You cannot assemble Matryoshka in a different way. Because if you make a mistake, the dolls won't be able to fit in, right? So it's a good it's a good toy for learning big, for distinguishing big from small for little kids. And then of course, when you play with kids, they love playing hide and seek. And playing with Matryoshka is like playing hide and seek with the doll, because every time when you open it up, there's like somebody hiding inside. It's like a little surprise that kids love, and it's always exciting for them to realize whether there's going to be another doll or that's the last one, right? So that's the moment that they like. And of course, it's very useful when you teach your child to count, right? Because to learn the numbers. Because first you count the dolls themselves, and then you start counting things that are drawn on them. Because yeah, like though they're all painted in the similar style, like might have strawberries on them, but each doll is slightly different because of the size, right? So you look at one doll and you realize that, okay, there are like five strawberries over here, and this one, how much does she has? She has how many? Three. So that's how we used to play. And of course, like kids like to look at them and to find the differences, to examine what is painted, how it is painted, because they're like beautiful by themselves and pretty bright. So you can also learn the colors and stuff. So this is like for playing with little kids of 1 or 2 years old, this is a pretty useful thing. The next type of toy that we're going to see is called Bogorodskaya игрушка. Its name comes from the place where it was made. So there's actually nothing special about the name itself. It's usually made from wood. There's like figures made from wood, and traditionally they're not covered with anything, they're not painted, they're just plain wooden like this. And the funny thing that this thing actually moves, like the figures move. And this is the most exciting part of the toys. Yeah, of course, kids are always amazed to see something that moves like this. This is also Bogorodskaya игрушка, but it's with the painting. And as you can see, there are like little chickens here that have a little pile of grain stuck over here in the middle. And actually, the whole construction is pretty simple here. Like, there's nothing very complicated in such toys. Like, you can see that their necks, like the necks of the chickens, are actually tied up to strings, and they have this little wooden egg over there in the bottom. But the funny thing is that when you move it like this, chickens are eating. Okay, so right now we've seen the most famous Russian wooden toys, and now it's time for us to move to clay toys. Yeah, to speak a little bit, like a few words about those types of toys. So, clay toys could be distinguished according to the place where they were made. And their names usually derive from the names of the places where they were invented and traditionally produced. So the most famous clay toy is Dymovskaya игрушка. If you look at it, it's usually white, like the base of it, it's white, and then it's painted in different types of bright colors. So it's always very cheerful, very, very, very bright. The other type of dolls that we have made from clay are Каргопольская игрушка. Филимоновская игрушка. Плешковская игрушка. I have a little list over here. And what else? And Абашевская игрушка. Игрушка is a toy. Word for the toy. So usually it's other figures of people or figures of animals. Yeah, they're made slightly different, but the main thing, the main idea here is the same. That you make something from clay, then you paint it, and that's it. So, okay. So that was it for today. Hope you enjoyed watching my today's video. I definitely enjoyed making it for you. I always enjoy explaining something about my traditions, my country's traditions, and things like that, because I think it's important, to understand each other better. It's important to learn each other cultures more. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it previously. Leave your comments. I'm always super happy to read them. And take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. So, see you next time. Bye bye. Love you.